Welcome to Real People, Real Voices. I'm James Jackson, your host.
And I'm Pastor Wayne Moore.
It's good to host with you again.
It is. It's good to be here with you, James. It's an honor and a privilege to be sitting next to such a great preacher.
Well, thank you, and likewise.
Thank you so much.
I always have to say likewise, because you always beat me to it.
Well, you know, we just got to learn how to lift each other up as we serve the master. That's what it's all about.
That's the way it ought to be.
It should be.
And we're glad you're here joining us on Real People, Real Voices today. We're excited about our guest on today.
Oh, yes.
She's going to be a tremendous blessing to you.
Yes, she is. She's doing some things in the city that's going to help make our city better, and she's going to straighten out some issues for us today. And we're going to let her do that and give her a free rein to do that so that the community and the city can know what's really going on as it relates to voter fraud versus voter registration. And so we're going to make sure you get there, because this is the last day, as we tape today, for voter registration. And so it wouldn't do any good to tell people to go out and do that, but I would hope people have registered to get ready for this election.
And now they're going to have the opportunity to go vote.
Right. Tomorrow, I believe, she'll help us understand that. Tomorrow, I believe, they start early voting, and so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, so we want you to stay tuned right here on Real People, Real Voices. Our Marion County Clerk, Mila Eldridge, is here with us, and she's a part of history.
And she's a saved woman. She know who Jesus is.
And I sense that in her conversation.
Yes. She has a little Beyonce color to her, but she's saved. She's saved.
I guess I'm speechless.
Yeah, she's got a little Beyonce color to her.
So, and she's one of the only elected officials that's holding a county-wide office.
Afro-American.
Afro-American.
Let's be very, very poignant about that, and that's a great opportunity for the community to understand that.
Yeah. So you're going to get to know our Marion County Clerk a little bit better here on Real People, Real Voices. So we want you to stay tuned right here. Also go to our Facebook page, like us on Facebook. Check out our YouTube channel at WHMB TV 40. You can watch this show and other shows that have previously been shown right here on this station. God bless you. We'll be back.
Be right back
in just a bit. Welcome back to Real People, Real Voices. I'm James Jackson.
I'm Pastor Wayne Moore.
And we want to get right to our very special guest, our Marion County Clerk, Mila Eldridge.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Do you all see the Beyonce color in her hair? All right.
Now, I know you're very, very busy. Got a lot going on right now. Of course, registering to vote is, of course, over with. And now people are going to get a chance to do something with that.
Yeah. Pastor Jackson, first let me just begin by saying praise to the Most High God, from whom all blessings flow, because I am on the Real People, Real Voices show, and I feel like I've made it. You know what I used to say, when you made it on Amos Brown's show, that you made it, but I feel like I've made it now. So I just want to give all honor and glory to God just for the opportunity to be on the show this afternoon.
We're happy to have you.
Thank you.
Happy to have you.
And again, yeah, you're absolutely right. It's an exciting time. It's an exciting time for the nation. It's an exciting time for Marion County. We're 28 days out until the November 8th election, and it's very critical that everyone gets registered to vote. It's not too late. It's not too late to register to vote. Anyone that has not registered can actually register online. The deadline is today. 11:59. This tonight, you have up until 12 midnight to register. So if you're not a registered voter, you definitely can get registered. And I'm excited to announce that tomorrow we will be early voting in the clerk's office. Earlier today, at the election board meeting, the resolution to have satellite voting locations was on the agenda, and it did not pass. And we know that satellite voting is good for everyone. It's good for all voters. But although it did not pass and we will not have satellite voting locations, we will have satellite voting in the clerk's office starting tomorrow at 8 a.m. So anyone that cannot make it to their polling location on election day or may have class, whatever the reason may be, they can come downtown and early vote in the clerk's office beginning tomorrow at 8 a.m. and on the weekends. We'll be on the weekends too.
That's great.
And you mentioned that the early or the satellite voting issue did not make it. What do you think the encumbrance is?
It's just it's unfortunate for our county, and especially for a county of this size. We have over 650,000 registered voters.
Wow.
And again, as I
million.
stated, satellite voting locations are good for everyone. It doesn't matter what your party affiliation is. So the reason for not voting, the board member that did not vote for satellite voting locations this time did not really state a reason why. But again, when I was elected, my job is to make sure that voting is convenient and easy for everyone. So I always continue to lobby for satellite voting locations. But again, there's really no legit reason why Marion County should not have voting.
So you
satellite
missed it
voting
by one
locations.
vote.
One vote.
Okay.
We always miss it by one vote.
Okay.
So is there anything that the people, the viewers, can do
To change that.
to help,
To help change that.
Well, it's the law. It's the law. So again, the people can lobby for change. You know what? I always tell the community too that the State House, that's our house. So feel free during legislative session during that season. Go over to the State House, lobby against those bills that do not benefit us and that actually have a negative impact on our county. And that is a law that definitely has a negative impact on our county, is that we cannot have satellite voting locations.
And something that is impactful too, we don't have legislators that understand that. Since it's my house, just as much as it's your house, we ought to make
right.
sure we have the right people in the house. And so with that said, we need to be very conscious of the fact of when we have exercised our our right to vote, we need to make sure that we do some research on those who are in office right now so that we either help them to remain in office or be led to find somebody that will bid for the people in our house.
That's right. You're exactly right, Pastor Moore. And again, we're 28 days out from a major election. You know, I have a saying that I'm like, you know what, we have this thing called democracy. It's not perfect, but it's all we got. And this is an opportunity for you to participate in democracy. And as a citizen of the United States of America, it's our responsibility, our right, and our duty to participate in democracy. And how do we do that? We register to vote, and we vote in all upcoming elections.
As well as primaries.
As well as
As well as primaries. We have a
elections.
very, very tough issue with primary elections here in Indianapolis, in Marion County, rather.
Now you have, as I understand it, a concern and a passion for millennials voting, that generation 18 to 30-year-olds. And of course, this is an opportunity for a lot of 18-year-olds who this might be their first time voting. And there's a lot of stuff going on right now. What would you say to them as they're about to have their first opportunity to vote?
Again, as a United States citizen, I can't say that enough. It is our right, our duty, and our responsibility, and especially for a millennial, to get involved, because you want people in office that will be the voice for you. You want someone in office that you feel connects with you. So it's important, because if you don't vote, then I have this sticker on that says my vote is my voice. And I just, on last week, I was at Perry Meridian High School at their town hall meeting, and their theme was, if you don't vote, you have no right to complain. It's like, if you don't vote, you get what you get when you don't vote.
Right.
You know, and that's so it's really critical. So I would just encourage every millennial to, again, register to vote and get involved in democracy, get involved in the process. Again, we have a very important election in 28 days. We'll be voting for a new president.
Right.
A new president, and that's important, but so are our local races. Our local races are just as important. So it's important to know that you will be voting for governor, lieutenant governor, the General Assembly. Those are our state representatives and our senators. It's important to pay attention to the school board races that are going to be on the ballot. Township board races are on the ballot. We have county seats that are on the ballot. Coroner, treasurer, surveyor. We have in Washington Township, 4 public questions will be on the ballot. The other townships in the county will have 2 public questions on the ballot.
The referendum.
The referendum, those are public questions. So it's just, and 2 judicial retention questions will be on the ballot as well. So also, I'm going to say to the millennials and to our seasonal voters, make sure you flip over your ballot card because there's going to be a lot on the ballot. But what's more important for millennials and our seasonal voters is to educate yourselves. Get yourselves educated before the election. Become election ready because this is a very, very important election.
Yeah.
And there's a website that people can go to on IndyGov.
Yeah, the website is www.indy.gov/election. You can also go to www.indy.gov/VIP, and you can always go to my website, which is www.indy.gov/clerk. So there's all sorts of websites that you can go to become election ready.
All right, and we'll talk about it more after we come back from break. Well, welcome back to Real People, Real Voices. We're very, very grateful that you've joined us on today. I'm your host, James Jackson.
Pastor Wayne Moore.
And we have with us our Marion County Clerk, Mila Eldridge.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Again, thank you for coming.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on with some kind of...
Yeah. I just overheard a few days ago about some voter fraud. How can voter fraud exist when voting hasn't taken place? Could you help us understand that?
That's so interesting that you bring that up. Yes, the media has been advertising voter fraud. Well, we have not voted yet in Marion County, so there is no case of voter fraud. However, there could be some possible issues with voter registration applications, but that is not voter fraud. So I want to be very clear that there is no case of voter fraud in Marion County.
Okay. Now, today, as we tape, as I could say that, is the last day for voter registration. How late tonight will people be able to do that?
You can vote. You can register to vote in the City County building in our voter registration office until 4:30 p.m. today. Okay, and then after 4:30 p.m. today, you can go to the state's website, and that's www.indianavoters.com, and you can vote or you can register to vote online.
Okay.
All right. And of course, as we indicated at the top of the program, you're part of history. Tell us about your journey.
You know what? I have to give all the glory and the honor to our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. It was a journey for me to become the first African-American clerk of Marion County, but it was in God's will. And my journey was hard but necessary. That's my message. And God said, for me to do what I need to do in you, you've got to go through some mountains. And it's so funny that you brought that up because God had just placed in my spirit that, the song For Every Mountain that you safely brought me over, You know, that's why I give you praise. And that's why I can sit here today and smile and say that it's just such an honor and a blessing and a privilege to serve as the clerk of Marion County, because I truly know in my heart that it was in God's will for me to be the clerk and that it's my season to do this.
And for those who are watching, they may not know what your responsibilities are as clerk. We say Marion County Clerk. What does that involve?
Okay, what does my day involve? No, actually, being the Marion County Clerk, my responsibilities are to administer the elections. And that's what's so interesting about the job, because whenever you hear, or about the position, whenever you hear the Marion County Clerk's office, people automatically think of what? Elections. They don't even consider or take into consideration the other areas of the office. So the clerk is responsible for administering the elections for Marion County. Also, all the courts fall under the clerk's office. So those are civil courts and criminal courts, juvenile court, traffic court. Also, the clerk is responsible for issuing marriage licenses. I am also the custodian over records. And I am the chief financial officer for collecting and issuing child support payments. So just a little bit.
Sounds like a six-figure job, Doc.
Well,
You know, I always say that when they wrote the Constitution or they gave out the duties or the responsibilities for the clerk's office, they forgot about all the other offices. But
Yeah.
you know what? But I'm up for the challenge.
Oh,
so.
great.
yeah, that's a
Yeah.
lot of
A
responsibility.
lot of responsibility.
Yeah, well, and two, you know, I have to say this, that I don't do it alone. You have to surround yourself. You know what, a great leader, I feel, number one, will die for the cause, and then also will surround themselves with people that will die pretty much for the cause, too. So I don't do it, I definitely don't do it alone.
All right. So, Myla, this is a tough election coming up in a lot of different ways. You know, here in the state of Indiana, of course, you've got Evan Bayh, who has come back in, and he's running, and that's kind of mixed things up. And of course, with our former governor, Mike Pence, becoming the running mate to Trump, that kind of mixed things up. And then, of course, all the things that are going on with Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. There are people who are saying that they're not going to vote. There's a lot of people who said that.
Yeah. What do you say about that?
What do I say about that? That is not a reason not to vote. Definitely. Like you said, I'm out in the community a lot, and I hear, I don't like either presidential candidate. But again, we have local races that impact our daily lives. And both elections are just as important. One is not higher than the other, and I say that all the time, again, because local races, they impact our daily lives. And and actually, speaking of millennials, when I'm out teaching 18-year-olds about the voting process, you know, I ask them, have you ever hit a chuck hole? You know, how many of you have sidewalks in your neighborhoods? How many of you don't have sidewalks? How many of you have crappy sidewalks, if it's okay if I say that on the air? But again, those are the issues that impact our daily lives, and that's why it's important that you not only vote for the president this time, but you also have very important local races. And again, like there are 2 public questions that are going to be on everybody's ballot. And that is if we want Marion County to have a public, improve their public transportation, have transit transportation, and if it's legal for anyone that would like to hunt, whatever, if we approve of that. So it's just important, again, that you be election ready and that you do your homework. You educate yourself prior to coming downtown to early vote in my office or going to your polling location on election day, because there are some races and some questions that are on the ballot for this election that's critical, that has a major impact on our daily lives.
I'd like to say too, Pastor Jackson, that when we hear Mila talk, about the election is important. Local politics is becoming more severe in our communities now. And so we need to encourage young people and all voters, seasonal voters too as well, to be very conscious about local politics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very, very important. Well, Mila, thank you for coming.
Thank you, Pastor
We
Jackson.
really appreciate it. It's
Thank
been
you.
Pastor
it's been a
Moore.
pleasure and an honor.
Thank you.
And thank you all for joining us today on Real People, Real Voices. We want you to stay tuned. We're going to be back in just a little bit with the rundown. God bless you.
When it comes to your money, whatever you want to get smart about, you can find at smartaboutmoney.org. Smart About Money is a free online resource. We are a non-commercial, non-profit organization dedicated to helping people just like you get information about money. For everything from how to build an emergency fund to how to deal with job uncertainty, smartaboutmoney.org has the answers you've been looking for. Smartaboutmoney.org, the easy place to start when you want to get smart about your finances.
Welcome back to Real People, Real Voices with the rundown.
Yes, it's rundown time, and we're going to be able to talk about some issues that we just talked about. Hopefully we can give greater insight on what's going on here in the next 28 days.
Yeah, it's a big election coming up. And Faith, of course, you're here and you were in the studio.
Absolutely.
Listening to what our clerk was talking about.
Right.
What do you think?
You know, I didn't realize, the clerk's job entailed so much. I always thought, of course, elections, and then, of course, child support. You see your name on the checks. But yeah, she has a lot of responsibilities. And, of course, with this election coming up very soon, she's busy. She's a busy lady.
Yeah, and it's a lot of responsibility making sure that, as she said, some 600,000 plus
650,000
registered voters.
registered to vote.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people, and we hope that each community will do that because we have to make some great decisions in 28 days. I do want to say something, Pastor Jackson, about not only the national election. Here recently, the last 3 or 4 years, I've been watching local candidates, and just found out, I always knew, but how important these local candidates are. And these local candidates, they set the pace for the communities. And we got to get out and get people to understand we have to start voting on the local level as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because there's some things that possibly need to be changed at the local level.
Yeah.
Yeah, they say it starts at the grassroots level.
Right.
That's where the country really runs, at the local level.
Right.
Yeah.
So, of course, when we see the presidential election, everything on the grassroots level has been laid. That platform has been laid.
Right.
So it's really important to understand who we're voting for and what they represent and what they stand for, so that we're informed, as our clerk mentioned, and that we're prepared to, fight for our vote and die for our vote. And, I don't know who decided not to have the satellite voting locations, but make it easy for us to vote.
Yeah, I think that's phenomenal.
Well, Dr. Martin Luther King talked about the importance of the ballot box. And there are quality of life issues at stake.
Absolutely.
The folks who will be elected will have direct impact on
That's right,
what
Pastor.
happens on a daily basis,
Right.
where our lives are concerned, the quality of our lives.
The quality of our lives is important, and that's why we have to have the right people. And then when you vote, you ought to look at the community resume of each candidate.
Yeah.
If you can look at their resume and see what they've done for community,
Yeah.
then you can make a good decision.
And Mila is clearly a Christian woman. We could see it right here on the show.
Oh,
She
I'm
glows.
excited about that.
Even though she's a Beyonce.
Yes, she has
she
the color hair
glows.
there, yes.
She's beautiful. She's absolutely gorgeous.
Oh, we certainly agree. And we thank you all. You all are beautiful too. Thank you for joining us on this edition of Real People, Real Voices.